first turnoff is most of the growth of players, and I don't mean height growth, most of the growth happens outside of practice. You learn things in practice, but then being able to take those home to your own practice, whether it's at home, whether it's extra gym time, whether it's at the park, wherever that is, most of the growth of players happens outside of practice. So I record some things. These are like at home, after practice type of things. And these in particular are, I don't think enough people focus for girls on the athletic ability that they have, the explosiveness, all of those things. You see that a lot with guys for some reason, that they'll say, oh, I'm gonna hit the weight room, or I'm gonna do agility drills. But girls have really great athletic abilities, and so sometimes it just takes developing those. So I focus a lot on agility, power, explosiveness, because especially in situations like this, if you're a hitter, being able to go up, hit the ball. If you're playing back row in defense, being able to take one step and get to a ball. You know, so all of those things, and they'll make you better in every sport that you play by being more, like I said, athletic as a whole, explosive, and have agility. So that's what these are going to be. We're just going to go through some at the net. And again, even if you're not a hitter, if you're back row, these are good for explosiveness and agility on those. So we're going to hit the net. I'm going to show a couple that are that we're going to do at the net, and then I'm going to show you on the wall here too, so it's stuff that you can do at home. You know, if you don't have a net. So being able to get to the ball quick, and I'm not going to talk necessarily about swing blocks or anything else. Again, this is more about movement and being able to move quick to the ball. So the first drill, and again, being able to block is using a lot of your core. A lot of blockers want to come up and try and bat at it, but I like to see blockers shadow the ball wherever it's going, and then it's a jump, and then it's your core and your butt sticking out, and you're trying to squeeze over the net. So being able to come sideways and doing that sideways and that, and it's just moving back and forth at that. Now Trinity, if you want to come up, grab a ball. So now here's how you can do it when you have a net and a ball. This gives you a target, is now she can jump up and she can put her hands on that ball, and then you can move it, and it's moving. So now you're working on really pressing. Jump. I want to see you jump. There you go. Press on that ball. There you go. And just doing that. That's the practice. Again, it's going to work on your explosiveness with your legs. It's going to work on your core. And it's going to work on the block. Now, if you're going to do that at home, same thing. And this really helps you be disciplined, just going up to the wall. You can put a ball, you can tape it up there, but now you can't cheat, right? This is not very forgiving like the net is. But what you can do, same thing, shadow, and really press into the wall. It's like you're pushing yourself off, and you're gonna feel it in your core. Here's something really fun too, because at first with all of these drills, sometimes they feel awkward. I'm gonna show you one where you jump on this. And sometimes it feels really awkward. Here's what you need to do is record yourself the first time doing it. Then record yourself a week later, a month later. That's when you can see, okay, that actually paid off. Don't worry about making mistakes when you do it. Don't worry about it looking ugly as far as the drill. Just do it, get the repetitions in. Seriously, don't worry about what anyone thinks. Good, one more. Nice. No, that's good. The more power you have, especially if you're going up with another person that's like a joust situation, the bigger push you have, you want that ball to come back. So always giving all that force right into it, getting a big wall up there. So if they're hitting, that you're not, you know, kind of noodle hands up there and it kind of blows right through your block. Having it really strong and really pressing in makes for a big wall for that. And those are the ones that get the attention of everyone in the gym. When you block something like that and it's really loud and it goes back down into the floor, everyone loves it. And it can change the whole mood of a game. So those are good. See how too it's making you work as far as your footwork. It's not just about the jump and the block. Good, one more. Good. Again, more just the footwork that you use a ball, but getting that in, going back to where you want. doing these, again, whether there's nothing over there, getting your steps down, acting like you're going to hit, and then coming to set, and just doing it. And that can all be done without a ball. Anything else coming in, swing, get the set, just like you're finding the ball. So two ways this can be done. If you're not a hitter, if you're more focused on defense, then this would just be, again, focusing on the jump. Like I said, I don't feel like enough people focus on girls jumping high when they really can if they put the energy into it. So the components of the jump too, especially other than blocking, because blocking comes from a lot of here and just springing, right? It's not like you're taking steps into it. You're here and you're getting that jump. This is a different jump. And it's going to come from, just like with your approach as a hitter, it's coming from down, arms back, and your arms throwing you back up into the air, right? Along with your legs, but we never have to think about our legs because they just do their thing. But having a block here makes you jump, not only up, but kind of like a hitter, it makes you jump and fly into the ball just a little bit. Now you can use bleachers, you can use benches, something that's stable though, that's why I put it against the wall. So if you jump on it, it doesn't slide. Taking that jump, again, if you're not a hitter, from here, and jumping up and keeping those hands up, right? It's like you just come here for your balance. You come all the way down, really exaggerate the arm swing, and jump up. When you do these, you're gonna feel it in your core. It's the weirdest thing that when you jump, it not only stretches it up, but now when you land, everything snugs up and tightens up this area. So that's one, again, if you're more focused on defense and not a hitter. This I like to use a lot for hitters because it makes them jump. You know, you can't just go out and hit. You have to physically take your approach and come out, right? So same thing, take your regular approach, focus on getting low, and here it is. This is your aiming hand, this is your hitting hand, and ready to switch. Landing and taking off and landing with that angle, right? When you're hitting, you don't go in and jump straight at it, right? You come in from here and jump. Then it's a matter of transferring that energy from here to here in your hit. Right. So if you're hitters, let's see the approach and jump up there. Again, this is one that now you're thinking about the block, you're thinking about this, thinking about all those things. You guys will have the video to see it, to see my explanation of it. So don't sweat that. But just go ahead and go through a couple of them. That's all right. Hey, I warned everyone ahead of time, right? I told you it feels a little awkward. I've done this before. You guys haven't, so don't sweat that. I like to see the jump. Yeah, you guys can go as much as you want. Yeah, here's kind of how I gauge how far away to be if you're just hitting, is when you swing down, you should just be missing the block. And then that's how you know how far away from it you want to be. So that now you
Are you too far?
Gotta land sideways. If you're landing forward, you feel like you're gonna run into this. If you're sideways, you see it, it's a walk. Do this. You're gonna hit harder. Here's why. You'll hit even harder is because if you're jumping like this, you have nothing here. If If you're like this, now it's transfer. It's this. It's this rotation in your core to bang the ball. So you gotta come up. You gotta land like this. Better. Okay, probably too far back too. That's why you're good. So even if you have to slow down your approach and focus on the technique of it, you can do that. Because if I'm just taking an approach from here,
So scary. It's like not getting it.
Now here too, here's where you start trusting yourself. You're going to start getting the coordination of it again. This is, if you think about it, it's jumping up onto a foam block. It doesn't seem difficult, right? Yeah. But now it's telling your brain, and then once you start doing it and you start getting it, everything becomes easier. Good. Here's why I like to talk about jumping in vertical too. We measured Trinity's vertical jump back in the summer, and we haven't measured it since, but here's a big deal, especially when you look at the net. It's 7'4", right? So let's say that you reach 7'8", 7'9", you can block the ball. Now you start working on your vertical. This is about 8 inches. What if you could get another ball of your hands higher? Let's say that you're even with the majority, your average as far as jumping and blocking. You work on that for 3 or 4 months. Let's say you can get a whole other ball up. Look how big that block is. No one's hitting over it. They're gonna have to hit around you, right? That's really big. I mean, you think about 8 inches isn't that much. That's only like that. But when you put 8 inches on top of what you're already at, that makes it really big. So working on, vertical and jumping and that agility is a big deal. So this one is more for, again, kind of passing the back row, but it's still focused on the agility and the explosiveness. I'm gonna go on that side. A lot of times, when a ball comes short, right, I see a lot of reaching instead of moving quick to get underneath that ball. So simply getting into your stance and moving like this. A lot of times the ball will come to and you kind of do the stand up. You have to train yourself now to stay in that position. It's helpful too. I did some other videos just on people throwing a ball to you and just not coming up. They throw it right to you so that you don't have to move too much, but just staying in this position so that you can pass, right? And then someone will throw it a little bit further, focusing on really pushing off and getting that second leg over instead of coming and trying to get a big reach, because now you're pointed that way and a lot of times it'll go that way. So if you come and you can do this, now you have your base step back. But it's a matter of really getting explosive and not just stepping over, but taking it almost like you're going to jump there and just do that and then left. And just movement. So starting with, like I said, moving, staying in that position, training all those muscles, stay tight, and move in those positions. And then working on power, power, power. Okay, any questions on this? So like I said, I'm going to throw it pretty much to you or just off to a left or just off to a right. Okay. Just stay in that position and really focus on just passing it back up. Good. You never know when the ball comes over either. It can come over on the first hit, come come over in second, come over in third. So always being in that position and not being a spectator. Again, this is something you can do in anyone's yard, right? You need a little bit of space in the ball and you're good to go.
Mine.
I'm really big on passing because passing makes setters look good and it makes hitters look good.
Mine.
So if you can get passes so that your setter is the most rested person on the court, you're doing it right.
Mine.
All right, I'll show you one more then for the next one. The next one, from that same position, a lot of our defense and serve receivers may be closer than a lot of teams. I like to see the girl teams that are hands off. I call this the donut, and so many things get lost in the donut. It's that hole in there that for whatever reason, the ball just falls in there. So we scoot a long ways out. Your coach is going to put you where they want. Always listen to your coach. But that means you work a lot on the hand stuff. You're never out of the same position. You're always here. But being able to get your hands up and just pop that ball back up, right? It's rare that, you get some back throw stuff, but it's rare that you can't reach something with one step back and using your hand. I don't expect the same quality of pass necessarily when it's your hands, just something that's popped up over there. So whoever has it now come up and just, it's the same thing, except now I'm just going to throw it up above your head, and you just go from this position to there and just pass it up. Again, something you can do at home. There you go. See, now you can get that ball. Good. Sometimes it's okay. Good. One more. There you go. Just being really strong with those hands, really forcing it right back the other direction. This isn't something that I expect centers out of the ball. It's just something, like I said, really strong. Get the ball back up in the air. And as you practice it, you'll start to trust your hands more, and everything will start to look better. Stay down though, because again, your power, even from your hands, your power comes from here. But if you already stand up, now you have your arms. So make sure you stay down, and then it's like you're kind of jumping and shooting through it. There you go. See how much smoother that is now? Good. Good. All right. Let's see if I got anything else. Oh yeah, I did have one more. This would be more for a loose ball, right? You get that first pass, maybe it's one of those off the hands that doesn't come out. And again, getting that explosive to transfer off of here. This is something called a false step. If you watch anyone that has not really trained themselves, they'll be in this position and then they'll do this and then they'll take off to go out. So working on similar to what we did before, but now you're not going to hop, now you're going to take off after the ball. So let's say you're over here, making sure if you're going right, your first step is right. It's not coming shifting. So it's whatever direction you want to go, the power comes off the opposite side. Now there's no wasted movement and anything else. And in a loose ball, sometimes you have to take off quick and you got to get there. So getting that power. So let's say it's over here. So now you can have someone throw it, or you can just get in that position and you can take off. And you just get back down and take off. Really focusing on opening up this hip like this. And you can see there, it's just one open like that. So, I think that's all I got.